is day 19 of my 30 days of decluttering in January challenge, and today we are decluttering this cupboard, which we're calling it a storage cupboard, but really it is a junk cupboard. Look at the state of this. I'm just tackling this top section because at the bottom we have a blender and we have cookbooks, and I'm happy with how that looks. But the top here, it is a shambles. Earlier on in my decluttering series, I tackled the junk drawer, which is in my kitchen. And at the time, somebody made a comment on that particular video and they were talking about how they tackled their own junk areas in their house, consolidated them down to one. And I read that, and at the time I was thinking, well, I just have the one junk drawer, so that's okay. That's looking a lot better. And then I opened up this cupboard and was getting some vitamins out for the kids. And I was like, oh my God, Nat, you liar. You a liar. You have a junk cupboard. This is out of control. So I knew I needed to tackle this now because it's actually getting a bit difficult to find things. I also talked about how I keep losing these running timers that I have. They live in this cupboard, but they've gone a little bit, I mean, they're in the cupboard, but I had to root around the other day to find one, and that one didn't have charge. And yeah, I was just like, this is time. So in here we have things for the kids, we have the boys' wallets, we have a bunch of little toys, fidget toys, bouncy balls, the little bouncy balls that you get in kids' party bags. So my kids love those, and we have a lot of them. I could definitely minimize them. We don't need 10 bouncy balls, but they do actually love getting them all out and playing with them. When one person gets them out, they'll all want several, and then they roll them from one end of the house to the other. We have quite a large open plan living space downstairs, and so they'd love just sending these tiny little bouncy balls, firing them out, and then running around after them. So I don't mind that we keep them, but I do like to have sight of them because I think the size of them, I'm just a little conscious. I feel like they could be a choking hazard for Daisy, my 2-year-old. So things like that, I like to have in an area which is more under my control than areas which are the toy areas, which the kids have free reign to get out whenever they want. If they're going to play with the bouncy balls, absolutely no problem, but I have to supervise that activity and I don't leave them alone with them. So if that makes sense. Maybe that is too much. I don't know. What do you think? But I feel like there's a good reason why small toys like that aren't recommended for children under 3. And having a 2-year-old and only just turned 2, she's still at risk of putting things in her mouth. And if I'm honest, actually my 4-year-old, he's never got out of the habit of putting things in his mouth. He's just one of those kids that has to try everything out. So I'm sure he'll grow out of it at some point. But he's nearly 5 and he's still putting everything in his mouth. So not yet. So we managed to clear out wires from this area into the wire area that we've created under the stairs. And then there were other things like some of the kids' toys. We have these little lanyards that the kids get with various toys or that they've bought. And they like to pretend to be mini mum and dad, because we have lanyards with our work passes on, and they see those, they think they're really cool. And also their teachers at school, all the teachers have a lanyard with their pass on so that you know that they're school staff, and they like to pretend to be teachers. So I think that's really cute. But if they wanted a lanyard, they would not look in this cupboard for it. They would look in our little beach house, a little toy thing on top of the toy unit, and that's where they live. So it's relocating things that need to be somewhere else to where we would look for them. I also seem to have quite a lot of memorabilia paperwork in here. So we have a load of leaflets from our summer holiday, a bunch of stuff like that. And actually I try not to keep that anymore. We have all the photographs from the days out. But once upon a time, I would have kept everything like that. Every little leaflet from a happy event. If I went somewhere, if I went to the theatre, I would buy the catalogue that came with it, and I would keep that forever. And now I'm much better at not buying the things in the first place, not picking up the leaflets, and then not keeping them if I do. If we go somewhere with the kids and we have to get a map for a location, I will put that in the recycling when we get home. But once upon a time, I kept everything. And my husband's like that as well, actually. He kept every cinema stub. I think he probably still does. But keeping hold of the item that came with the outing, to hold on to that memory. Do you do that? I'm trying to get a lot better at taking pictures of things or just keeping the pictures of events. I have a lot of sentimental stuff that is a category that I want to tackle at some point. Each person has like a big box with sentimental items in our loft. The kids are full, and our kids are only 6, 4 and 2. So one large tote box, I think, is more than enough to like leave them with when they become an adult, like to, you know, one day they move out and say like, here's like all the things we kept from your childhood that we really wanted you to have. I feel like if we get to the point where like 6 years old, they already have a full box, I think that is excessive, that is too much. So my plan when we come to that topic is actually to take photographs of everything in those boxes, and then, or not everything, but a lot of the things, and get them made into books. You might be able to tell from my voice that I have yet another cold. Like, we all have colds in the house. It's just like that viral season. And when you have really little kids who are at school and nursery, or like for our kids, they're in 3 different settings. So the boys are at school, and then Daisy, my 2-year-old, is at nursery 3 days a week, and then she goes to preschool 1 day a week. So 3 different settings means 3 different opportunities to pick up various different viruses and pass them around to your family members. So we are constantly getting sick right now, and I'm getting a bit more sleep. The last few nights I've been better at getting like into bed around 11 o'clock at night, which is still pretty late, but it was like 1 a.m, which is ridiculous. So I'm getting a bit more sleep, which is good, but I think my immune system is still on the low side. I need to do more. I need to get more rest. I need to sleep more, and, you know, look after myself a bit better, I think, because I'm definitely picking up everything and it's hanging around for quite a while, which is always a sign, I think, for me that I need more rest. So I think this wooden crate works really well in this particular location, like in this area. It fits well, but within it, it's not working. So I have this little wicker basket thing here, which I'm putting smaller items back in, but I need to go back to this project with some better organisation. So what are your tips here? Do I need to get some more tubs? What do I do? I need something. So I'm thinking like I need something for pens. Do we get a little pen pot to just have the pens in? Do I need something bigger? I need some dividers. But yeah, because there's a mishmash in here. We've got like hairbands for Daisy, we've got my running timers, we've got pens, we've got toys. Look, all these running timers. At least I know where they are now. I need to go back and make sure that they are all charged up, because I did just chuck them back in as they were, some of them not charged. But like I have a little pot there at the back that has my iron water in. Vitamins are kind of loose and we need to do something about that. I feel like I need like vitamins in one place. And then like maybe the vouchers in another little pot. I could do with like several basically in this particular unit. So that's a job for me to look back on. But otherwise, I think I got rid of more here than it felt like at the time. And looking back on it and looking at it now, I can see it looks way better than it did at the start, but it's still quite full. And this is definitely an area which is going to take another 1 to 2 goes over before I'm feeling happier with it. Like before I look at it and think, yes, you know, organised, all the essentials, no rubbish in there. But I feel like the first sweep through an area, that's the time to get rid of the obvious rubbish. Like, this is a no-brainer, we don't need this. And then second time is to like push yourself a bit more. Like, come on, we can live without this. And then third time is like no. This is serious now. This is it. Get rid of stuff. Come on. So for me, that's always been the case. I have to give myself 2 or 3 times to go over areas, and you know, before I can really be brutal. And I do need to get more brutal. You know, when I start putting things back in, you're like, yeah, that's looking good. You know, and then it gets to a point of putting stuff back in where like, no, it's too much now. There's no space. And this area still, there's no space. And I'd like, in general, across the whole house, I want there to be space. Like if something new comes into the house, I can find a home. Whereas now, like if the kids were gifted a toy, there's a bit of space, but there's not loads. I want space. I want space in my cupboards so that new items can come in and we're not fit to burst already, whereas we're not there yet. And that's fine, because I haven't yet been decluttering for even 2 months. You know, I just started in December. It is going to take a while to get back on top of things. And for now, better is good enough. Each day I'm managing to move things from the house, and that's the important thing. and we will get there, 100%. We will get there bit by bit. And now that is done, let me show you what we did actually manage to declutter. I say we, like it's just me here. But I will show you what we managed to get rid of from this space. So we have a bunch of paperwork here, and I am literally going to scoop it all up and put it straight into the recycling. So we have a bunch of paperwork, a bunch of leaflets, and there was also some food items right at the back of this cupboard. And I don't think I actually wiped down the cupboard, so I will need to go back and do that. The phone case, the box it came with, that managed to go. And these were like these chocolate Colin caterpillars. Actually look really nice. I'm kind of annoyed that I forgot they were there. But there we go. And the rest just goes in the bin. I will see you in the next one. Bye.